Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading for your special gift. And I'm just going to lead into the topic of what your friends love about you, or maybe what your partner loves about you. But this is probably going to be more of like a what your friends, like what just makes you stand out? What do people always notice about you? Lover, friend, relationship, whatever. What's your gift? Okay, so please, these are our 4 crystal cards we have here: Pyrite, Angel Aura Quartz, Celestite, and Amethyst. Pick a card. I'm going to zoom in pretty quickly here. Yeah, just take a look, whatever speaks to you. I just say don't overthink it. Here you go, and this is your special gift. So find your timestamp and enjoy. Thank you so much. Goodbye. It's Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. You are here for your reading of your special gift, and you picked Pyrite, which is beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favorites always. It says let the money flow in, but I don't think this reading is going to be so much about money. This is just about what makes you golden? Why are you so great? Because you are. And what gifts do you have? So we're going to get right into it. Okay. I am going to I'm going to start with an oracle card. We're going to definitely incorporate some oracles here and find out. I'm going to just right off the bat ask, who are you? What encapsulates you in basically 2 oracle cards? Okay, face your shadow and be of service. So knowing that we're going to get into this reading about what your special gift is, I'm going to say right away that you, I feel like there's just something no nonsense about you. I think you're I think you're confident. I think you're very self-aware. I think you're someone who's probably always working on themselves. I do think, when I see be of service, it makes me think that you probably enjoy being around other people. You probably work hard to maintain your friendships. You just seem like someone who's very just conscious and conscientious. I get the feeling you try to do things right. And you might be at a point in your life where you really are in this self-growth kind of path, where I feel like so many people are. But this is somewhat vague, but we'll build out on this a little bit, and we will get to your special gift. But right off the bat, there's something about you. You are, and I don't want to say self-aware a million times during this reading, but I just have a feeling that I don't feel like you say silly or stupid things. I feel like you're very conscious of the words that come out of your mouth, and in a way that you're commanding. You you command respect. This is just the vibe I'm getting from you. So let's build a little bit more about who you are and your special gifts. So we've got 6 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Mother of Cups. So I'm going to go here again with there's definitely this kindness. I do believe you work hard. I think that you are someone who has to work hard. I get the feeling that you would just kind of spiral if you didn't have a task at hand always. You are a strong communicator. I feel like you take the role of the almost like a natural leader. And I think if there's an argument, there's a word I'm trying to think of, someone who, the mediator amongst your friends. If someone's, oh my goodness, if there's a debate, you're the one that's going to mediate. If there's a decision to be made, people are going to look to you what do you think? And you might naturally fall into that place. And I don't know actually if you're in a job that is really doing justice to just how smart and capable you are. But the Wheel of Fortune makes me think there is something coming up for you. There's something in your future where maybe you're finally going to get to show who you really are, what you're made of, but I just don't think it's there yet. I think right now you're in this process of actually working hard, being a good person, working on yourself, doing all the things you need to do, and almost waiting for where's your reward in all this, because I do think you've been pretty diligent about trying to make things happen for yourself. And with the Wheel of Fortune card, there's this karmic essence to this card where I would just say you've been on the right path. You've been intentionally trying to do the right things, helping others, being a good person. There's this kind of generosity aspect here. And I think you're honest and fair. I just get this, I get that, like, you would be one of my good friends. You would be in my friend group. You just seem very, very strong, very confident, and just like a good person. And I'm sure you're interesting and funny and all of that. But I get this thread of you consciously and working hard to be the person you want to be. But also, I do feel like you're not there yet. There's something that's going to have to come due. There's going to have to be some reward for you putting out all this effort. And with Face Your Shadow, I don't think you've always done this. And this, I think as of late, whether it's just in the last couple months or maybe in the last year, you've really tried to, maybe you've just heard like the word shadow work come into play recently, and it inspired you to kind of look into it. Maybe you listen to a podcast on it. But I do feel like you've been doing your shadow work, and that's something that can go on for a very long time. I feel like we can always be doing our shadow work, but I do think that you're at this point where you're addressing these issues, and and I think you talk with your friends about this journey of yours. And so I'm just looking at this. We will get into what your special gift is, but I do think it has something to do with the fact that you are so confident. You're such a communicator. I think people feel kind of empowered when they're around you, even if you aren't necessarily, maybe you aren't making the money that you wish you were making right now. Maybe you have this amazing degree and you aren't quite using it. It doesn't change the fact that I believe your friends still look up to you as someone who really almost has all the answers, or someone who can always get them through whatever the issue is. I think you're asked about your opinion and your input on things that maybe even are beyond your actual scope, but it is, you still have the answers, because you have this knowledge, this insight that is that goes beyond your actual experience level, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to ask what your special gift is, but I think it has something to do with that. So what is your special gift? Let me turn this over and see here. We've got the Tower, the Four of Cups. So these are four pretty heavy / dark cards. So given the fact that I asked what your special gift is, your special gift isn't that you're like a horrible person. Your special gift is probably that you can turn lemons into lemonade, or that you, and actually I do really think that's it. I think you have a gift and a knack for really lifting people up, and not in just a cheesy, positive, over the top way, not like you're just reciting positive mantras or words of encouragement. I actually think you have a perspective. And when I see the Wheel of Fortune here, this is a card of good, bad, karma in this cycle, on this ride, being taken for a ride. But there's a darkness to this card, and it makes me think that you can see like both sides of the coin. You somehow have this insight to see like the good that can come out of a situation, but also the bad, or maybe like the foresight. And you can really share this. And so if someone is going through something pretty tough, I don't think they want to talk to you because you're just going to be like, everything happens for a reason or something like that. I think you actually have these words of advice. Again, you haven't necessarily lived through their problem, but you do have a way of projecting just almost like a brutally honest outlook that somehow lifts them up. So I do think you have an ability to lift people without being overly gooey or positive. And this is a nice gift to have. Not everyone has it. A lot of people can just tell you the nice, like, quintessential things you want to hear. But when it really comes to making someone feel better, I actually think this is kind of where your gift lies. And this is a big gift actually, because it isn't just to make a friend feel better. This this travels over into like almost any partnership, any relationship. This has to do with like work. There's a trust here. Like people actually want to confide in you. They want to share their stories of woe with you. And because you kind of do equal parts commiseration and encouragement without being, like I said, like sickeningly sweet, or without being this like full on misery loves company dynamic. And it is because you've done this work on yourself. I think you like helping. I think you want to see people happy. But I do think there's also this somewhat like self-deprecating vibe about you that people always enjoy. And that, that's not necessarily your gift, but your gift really is that you can help people who are in very, very low places see a silver lining, but you can almost inspire people. You can motivate people. Like when their lives are just turning to shit, everything's crashing and burning, everything's turned upside down. They've experienced like real loss, regret, hardship. They're feeling apathetic. I really think that they're going to come to you. And I mean, this could be a blessing and a curse. Maybe you're so sick of having everyone, including like your brand new coworker, come to you with like a tale of woe. Who knows? But I would say it is still a gift. And there's more to this gift. It isn't, let's get a couple like extended layers as to just how broad, how great is this ability of yours. And then, also, how would this carry into like a relationship? Because they all do. I mean, this is something that, okay, so let's get to more bits about your gift. Okay, so make necessary sacrifices and express your joy. So a little bit about knowing when to, tell them that things are going to be great, knowing when to share your own successes, but then also knowing when to kind of taper back and make those sacrifices, whether it's sacrificing telling your side of something wonderful that happened to you for the sake of, making people feel like you're on their level, or just knowing when to sacrifice whatever. I would sacrifice your time, your money, your energy, and putting it towards the right person or the right situation. But what I really like about you, and I think is actually very unique about you, is, when people want to confide in you, if you're the one that your friends really want to confide in, like if they could think of 30 people they know and you're the one that they really want to hold that secret with, that is powerful. There's a power in trust there. There's a power in like wanting your input and your knowledge, wanting to see where you stand on this, like having people weigh in with you. And I think that's a lot of who you are. You're kind of like the guru, I guess, amongst your friends. You're the local guru, and you probably are somewhat of a, jack of all trades, master of none. No offense on the master of none, but just, I have a feeling you are always reading about new things, always trying to expand, always trying to learn. And again, maybe you spread yourself too thin. Maybe that's why you aren't the CEO of a company, because you, I feel like there's this butterfly aspect to you where you just really do have to float around and try new things. And I think you probably need to be stimulated from a lot of different resources. You yourself probably tire of things quickly or tend to get bored or antsy. But that's not really the point of the reading, but I can feel that in you. And maybe that's part of just the fact that you do take on so much of other people's energy. I don't even know where I'm going with that. But if that tracks for you, then I could absolutely see that. You are empathetic, but I wouldn't call you an empath. And that's an interesting thing here. I wouldn't say your special gift is that you're just this full-blown empath. And what I mean by that is I do think you feel things. I think you can read a room like no one else. I think you understand the needs or even like the thoughts and feelings of people you barely know. Like you could look at someone and be like, I know what that person's thinking right now. Not like if they're thinking about what they want for dinner, but like thinking as far as like, I can tell if they're uncomfortable. I can tell if they, are nervous or scared or don't like me, like those kind of things. However, I don't think you are so wrapped up. I think you care about other people, but I don't get the feeling that this isn't your world. You're not going to be, which is probably, I guess, what am I trying to say? As great as this is, that you are able to take on so much of the problems of everything from friends, coworkers, colleagues, whatever, acquaintances, but it's not you. It doesn't define you. You have your own. There's something very deep, I think, about you. There's different levels to you that I don't think a lot of people get to see, probably because A, they're too busy talking about themselves, and B, because I don't think you show those sides. But a lot of that comes up to me with the Wheel of Fortune. And even there's this almost mysterious dark side to you. And part of that is your gift, because there is something intriguing about you. I think you have this natural alluring quality. I don't even know that I would call it charm. I think there's this like allure that you have where you can almost pull people in, and create this kind of, maybe you can make people feel like they're the only person in the room. And then as a result of that, they will just unload on you, whatever that is. This could be, a date that you are interested in, so you're thrilled that they're opening up, or it could be, someone you just met. It could be someone who you're working with. It could be a server. It could be, there's so many situations, but yes, you do make people feel safe. And to that point, they can trust you. You are probably like a steel vault. If someone tells you a secret, I don't think you have a big mouth at all. So that would be another gift of yours. I think you can definitely keep a secret. You are probably like me in that you can't keep your own secrets, which I know I can't do, but I generally am pretty good about keeping other people's secrets. Or not even generally, I would say it's something I really strive for. And I absolutely get that vibe off of you as well. But yeah, I think you're complex. And I'm going to turn over a few more cards. I'm going to go with this Oracle theme, which I enjoy, but there is a complexity to you. And I will say, more than just a special gift, I do think that once people get to know you, you will start to open up a little bit about yourself, and then, you'll actually get to share bits of your past and your hopes and dreams with people, and they'll be very happy to hear them, because they will know that they've shared so much with you and maybe don't know near as much about you. But this is kind of the burden of having this gift that you have, where people really do want to share, unload, talk, and they want your input. They want, for some reason, you're the one that they want to know your thoughts and feelings on it. It is a gift, and it is very alluring. It's very kind of magical. It pulls people in. So I want 2 more cards about how wonderful you are. Correct your mistakes. And can we even see these? Think things through. So this is interesting, because these are both like, it's like the stuff you would get on the critique from like a teacher or something. And this would go back to the part of me thinking you are very self-aware, almost to the point probably of being subconscious, or self-conscious. I do think that it's much easier for you to hear other people's stories, than actually open up about your own. And if you were to do that, if you were to be in the vulnerable seat, you would probably think very much about, what you said, how you said it, the way you portrayed yourself when saying it. You would very much think things through. So this card is it's just to say, yes, you are this person. And as far as correct your mistakes, you are working on yourself. You do actively work on yourself. I don't know if you talk about it, but you do actively work on yourself. So let me get a couple or 3 more cards about your special gift and what your friends actually love about you. And let's see. So, okay, well, this is good. I'm glad we have another, because there are some heavy cards on the table, which is interesting, but we do have the 9 of Cups here. So I think things work out for you. I do think you have experienced in your own way, your own amount of like sadness, regret, and we all have, but there's something to tell me which I'm not going to get into it. I don't even have the cards in front of me to get into it, but it does make me think there's something you've been through where you are literally moving on from something kind of in a not looking back way. And that does shape a little bit of this person you are that can always, handle other people's, so there are other people's pieces of information. But and so we've got Judgment and the Nine of Cups here. I do think things work out for you. This is the Nine of Cups card. This is kind of like a wish card. And I think you are a very kind of complex, deep person that is just interesting. I think in a word, you're probably interesting. I think you are very dynamic. Whether or not people see that, I'm not sure, because I don't know that you show yourself as being this like super dynamic person, but people know that you have many, many capabilities. And like I said, when I call you the town guru, at least amongst your friends or people who get to know you, I almost think that could be like the way they would consider you. So yes, I hope this reading makes sense. And I didn't really even talk about Judgment. It just kind of got factored in. But for me, there's a part of me that thinks you are really your own toughest critic, and that you are always, with this thinking thing through, like you're very much almost like nitpicking yourself. I don't know how relaxed you are in your own skin necessarily. You do seem like you're almost hyper aware in some ways. But as far as your special gift goes, you're very likable. You portray yourself and actually, are trustworthy, and just you're a true confidant for people. So, that is a very nice thing, and anyone's going to like this, whether it's a romantic partner, whether it's a friend, like I said, colleague, coworker, which is kind of the same thing, I guess. But that anyone who meets you is going to want to, they're going to want to get to know you, but then they're going to be so caught up in the opportunity to talk about themselves that they probably, it'll take them a little longer to get to know you. But that's your reading for your special gift. And this is just one gift that came through off this top line. I'm sure you have many that I didn't even come close to touching on, because I really focused on just, that's what jumped out at me. And this isn't like a love reading. This has really, this can go for anyone whether you're romantic with them or not. But you are someone I would love to sit down and talk with and get your input on some things. So yes, I hope you enjoy your gift. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. I would love to hear them. And thank you so much for letting me read for you. Goodbye. It's Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading for your special gift. And then I've just tacked on what your friends love about you. But this is really what anyone loves about you. And it is, I'm sure you have many gifts, but this is going to be, I'll just get a feel of one of them and talk about it. Angel Aura Quartz. I don't know if there's anyone who didn't pick this card, because it's stunning. I love it. It's like, I don't know, it reminds me of like Malibu Barbie or something. Like, it's just so beautiful. Okay, I am going to start with 2 oracle cards, just kind of highlighting your special gift, and we'll fill it in and we'll get an idea of what this is. And we'll have fun with it. So Go with the Flow, which... oh my goodness, there's one card here. So I did pick up 3 cards: Have Faith and Make Necessary Sacrifices. I think when I picked up Go with the Flow, I think there's something like very chill about you. There's something, and then to see I don't know so much about this card, but to see Have Faith, I just think you are like, you're so easy. You're so chill. There's everything you do. Everything vibes with you. And I think you probably have this very relaxed way about you. You're probably, I don't know, with this, there's probably like this kind of sensual energy that goes along with you. I just feel you being very like calm, and I don't know, there's something very smooth and like easy about you, which I love. And the Have Faith, maybe you're super into yoga, maybe you meditate, maybe you're a vegan. I don't know, but it's something along those lines. Like you definitely have some rules that you live by. And they just, as long as you fall within this structure of your own, these rules that you set for yourself, I think your life can feel very, very right. And what I mean by that is like, let's say you have a list of 5 things that you really want to do and achieve. And if you're doing them and achieving them, I think you are very much with your own flow, like you are in flow. Whereas a lot of people might set this list, you know, with 100 items that they'll never be able to check off, so they're never in flow. But I think you have a way of managing your time, your resources, your money, and things work for you, because I don't think you let yourself get too overwhelmed. And with that, make necessary sacrifices. Yeah, I absolutely think you make the necessary sacrifices. Like you're gonna trim the fat where necessary. You are not going to expel anything you don't need to. I think you're chill. I like you. I want to sit and have a drink with you. Like you're awesome. You probably smoke weed. You probably enjoy a good drink. And I only mean that because it's just like, you know, such a cliche way of like checking out and mellowing. But if you don't do any of those things, you might be super clean. Like, you know, who knows? Doesn't matter. But you have this, you have your own thing that you subscribe to, and it totally works for you. And it's probably absolutely contagious. That's probably your special gift, that when people are around you, they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I feel like I just like had a weekend away. I don't know. You're easy. You're breezy. Okay, let's get 3 cards a little bit more about your special gift. So Ace of Cups. I mean, there we go with like the fluid love. Oh, I love this card. 2 of Pentacles and the Magician. So there is a magic about you, actually. There is this, it's a quality that you have. It is this, like you could take it or leave it. And I feel like you could take or leave just about anything. And you might be slightly apathetic to certain things. You might be slightly unaffected by things. You might be a sociopath. I'm just kidding. But you might have this way about you where, you know, it really is water, whatever rolls off your back. Like and this might sound like I'm saying bad things, but I'm not, because of this, I do think you're very happy. I think you manage your own life and your processes in a very intentional way. And this is a gift. There's a way that you manage your life that is very, I think all your friends, all the people who know you, the people who, you know, have had a glimpse into what it's like to spend a day with you, a year with you, whatever. I think they all wonder, like, how do they do it? How does she do it? How does she make this look so easy? And I think you're very good with choices. And you're very good with, you, like I said, like, you know what to take and you know what to leave. You know what to eliminate. You know what to bring on. You know exactly what to do that's going to serve yourself. And it is this kind of like solitary cup that I see. You know, it's like your cup doesn't necessarily overflow because you don't overwhelm yourself. It's not like you've got so much going on that you can't see straight. It's like exactly what you want. So wherever you are, I feel like is exactly where you want to be. And I do think it's intentional. It probably looks very easy, but I actually think you're very much in control, always, of these kinds of things. And how this is a gift beyond just how you manage your own life is there's this alluring quality that goes along with being like this. It is this ease that just radiates off you that I think people really, really, it's contagious. They want more of it. So yeah, I like this. And I think you're very confident. I think that if you want something, you absolutely go after it. However, you're not going to go after every single little thing. You're going to have to really want it. It's really going to have to be worth your time or worth the sacrifice that it's going to take to actually get it. But if you decide you want something, you get it. That's when the chill you might turn into like this intense, you know, person on a warpath, which I do think you have in you to be. You know, and your friends and all the other people in your life, they see this and it just makes you more interesting. But yeah, I think there's something very kind of like sparkly and rainbow-esque about you. I don't know a whole lot about auras, and not everyone listening to this, let's say I had, more than 2 people listening to this video. Not everyone's going to have a rainbow aura, but like, I feel like the people that pick this, like they would have either that rainbow or that like tri-colored aura where they just have very multi-dimensional. There's different things going on with them. And so as a special gift, there's like I almost feel like you can manipulate people. Not that that's something you should do, but you have an ability to really kind of work your magic, and you can manipulate people, which you shouldn't do, and I don't think you do. That's not at all what I'm saying, but it's that power in knowing that, like, if you need to convince someone, you can be very convincing. You can be very compelling. Those are, I guess, euphemisms for manipulation. But I don't mean this in a bad way, so please don't take it that way. But yeah, there's a sexiness here. Okay, let's get a little bit more about your special gift and who you are. Son of Cups and 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands, what a funny card. This does not come up very much for me. Yeah, so you could call this like a standing your ground card. You could call it's not conflict. It's kind of like knowing exactly what you want and going for it. That action of, if just an intentional, deliberate action, and kind of not settling for anything less than, which is very much how I see you. Well, and I'll get to an aspect of that in a minute, but the Son of Cups too, I do think there's this romantic-esque quality to you. I do think you love love. You probably love romance, but you also love that you can bring people into your fold and almost overpower them. There is just something very alluring about you, and I'll keep saying it because it is this vibe that comes through. And like in the last reading, it's not to say that person wasn't alluring, but their gift was different. It didn't have this like this edge to it, whereas yours does have a little bit more of an edge, because I think you're like a chameleon, kind of like you can show one side and be something else, but again, none of this is bad, and I don't know how to not keep talking about this and have it not sound bad, because you're interesting. You're very lovely to be around. You're very easy to be around. And I do think you make people feel very good when they're in your presence. And that's something I haven't really said here. I think people they feel very like strong and confident and beautiful when they're with you. And beautiful on the inside, I think, because you do give them that calming spirit that can really just, make people feel like reassured and valued. And I think this is definitely a gift of yours. So a little bit more about you, Daughter of Wands, and the 9 of Wands. You, there is something kind of commanding about you. I absolutely think you go after whatever you want fiercely, even if it looks like you're not doing much about something. Like in your mind, you're probably spinning out of control as to like how you're going to get exactly what you want. But on the outside, you probably look like you're just so like chilled out. But you do have there is an intensity to you. And I think that the people who know you very well get to see this. And they're probably terrified of it, but there is definitely that level of, you have there's another page, there's another side to you. And I actually think in relationships, this is something that people find very, like, they just probably get like taken, like almost obsessed with you in a way. I think you have an ability to make people stick around. And okay. Yeah, I think you're special. You are probably very keen, very aware. Even if you don't look like you're noticing things, you probably notice absolutely everything. And Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know that you have a lot of attention to detail, if that makes sense. Like I feel like you're someone who, could like repeat back every word that someone just said, but like not notice like what color their shirt is, if that makes sense. Okay, so where am I going with this? Let's get a little bit more about you, because you really do fascinate me. I want to know what's wonderful about you, because I've kind of gone down this like path of highlighting things that they seem like a little too edgy or iffy, and that's not the point of this reading. And you're a very lovely person. So let's get some more great things about you and your gift. Okay, Temperance. I'm loving that. Judgment and the World. So for Temperance, there's nothing about you that makes me think that you have an addictive personality. You are very moderate, very, even if you have this kind of like maybe temper, or there's something like almost hot-headed about you at times, you're very quick to like self-regulate. And in general, you aren't out of control. And even if you're passionate, which I do think there's a passion to you, I do think you will do exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. But you're very controlled in your actions. You're not just deliberate. And I actually, with the World, I think you probably could get bouts of, I don't want to say depression, but you can get dark or heavy at times, possibly depression. But you know how to self-regulate, you know how to work on yourself, and you just know how to really create the best environment for yourself. And you do judge yourself. You do have a very, like specific way of sizing yourself up, probably a lot. So in this snapshot that I'm seeing of you, your gift it's a unique one. And I think I'm nervous because I feel like so many people, if they looked at these 4 pictures, they picked this pile, and then I'm like, is this even a good reading? It is a good reading because I can understand what's great about you. But I'm just hoping I'm communicating that accurately. I think you're incredibly interesting, and I think there's something powerful about you. I think you either have like a psychic ability, or you have this like insight. There's something insightful. There's like that strong third eye presence going on with you, even to the point where you can like check in with yourself. Like one way that I think you do stay so chill and kind of seemingly checked out, even though you're not, is because you are in tune, you are in track. You know when you need to like up your stress levels, or when you can just, I'm going to say check out again, because it's a time where you don't need to be exactly on point. You don't have to bring it all because it's just not needed right now. But when it is, you know it. And with friends too, I really think I think friends love your company. If they're going through something, they love being near you. And if they're happy and on cloud 9, they love being near you. So you definitely get the best of both worlds from your friends. They always want to, either chill out with you, or just get a dose of like whatever positive vibes you bring. But again, there is an intensity to you. There is a side that makes me think you can overdo things, you can indulge, not indulge, that's not the right word, because trying to think what it is. I don't know, I'll have to come back to that. But either way, you do self-regulate. You aren't going to, you're not going to spiral out of control. You're not going to all of a sudden wake up in a ditch because you drank too much. Like that's not you. You are one step ahead. You're always one step ahead. I guess that's the point that I'm getting at. That's your special gift. You're always one step ahead. And whether you have this insight into knowing like what you have, just this feel for what's going to happen, how things are going to emerge, what people are going to say, how they're going to act. You can really kind of plan your life and your course based on this. And I think you do. And I think it really works out for you. Sometimes better than others. But and we see that with the World card here. You do you really let like nature take its course. You let things either completely, they just, you go with the flow. You literally, excuse me, go with the flow. And it's dead sexy. It makes you interesting. It makes you all sorts of great things. And yeah, so I hope you liked this reading. I hope you actually leave with a clear picture of your gift and feel good about it, because I certainly do. Okay, goodness. Thank you very much. I'm going to end this here, and have a great night, and thank you for watching. Bye. It's Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. You are allowing me read for you for what is your special gift. And I've said what your friends love about you. Yeah, and I hope this reading's better than the last one I just did. And I hope if whoever watched the last one thinks it was an okay reading. Okay, so you are here for Celestite, soothe your soul, but really just because you liked the card, the color, something about it. And I don't blame you. It's like just, it's so pretty. All these crystal cards are pretty. Okay, I'm going to start with some oracle cards and just try to get a feel of who you are and what your gift is just right out the gates, and then we'll definitely work on the details. But let's get a little bit about who you are. So take the lead and tune out distractions. This is about your special gift, which I definitely forgot on the last reading. I do think you are, you're very type A, let's just say. There's this like intense focus, this, oh goodness, you're the CEO type, you're the natural born leader. And if you aren't leading, then you're like, ears deep in a project. You're successful, you're smart, you're driven. There's something very commanding about you. So, like there's definitely that pentacle energy, pentacles energy, earth. And then I would get all of it. I get the fire, the action, the swords, the mind. And we'll see if any cups come up for you. Cause, I don't know about, your emotions, where you fall in that category, but I do think like you are a very, driven individual. And, I wouldn't say you can't sit still. Like you can sit still to get a job done. You're not like, I don't think you're OCD or ADD, OCD, ADD. I don't think you're ADD. And why am I spacing on what OCD is right now? I think you don't suffer from a lack of attention. Okay, so that is great. Already that's great. But I like to see how this special gift, like what other people notice and love about you. So let's get a little bit about that. Okay, so 9 of Swords. Oh my goodness, 10 of Swords. Wow. And 7 of Cups. Very interesting cards. If we're asking what people know and love about you, then really there isn't, there's not a negative thing to be said here. I just have to really think about the message. I'm going to say this, and I would say based on what I've pulled off here, obviously, you are someone that you probably could complain about a lot of things. You probably, I don't know, there's a lot here to make me think, whatever you've been through, whatever that is, you could always tell a story, a tale of woe. Every time someone says something that they've been through, I think you could honestly trump it, and you don't. And people really love this about you. They love that you're not the victim. That's what I'm getting here. You're 100% never the victim. And that is such a beautiful energy. And it's so refreshing to be around people like that. It's uplifting. And I do think you have this, I don't think you're necessarily like over the top, like gregarious or, I don't know. I don't get this like waterfall of emotion off of you, but I think you're blunt and you're very much to the point. There's a directness to you that is actually very refreshing. And with that, it's kind of funny. I think you probably have like great comedic timing. I get that you're funny, whether it's like with a very dry sense of humor. There's something about you. Yeah, there's just something fun to be around. And by fun, I don't know that you're out like partying. I don't necessarily mean fun in that way. I mean fun as in like you're interesting and you're entertaining. There's something entertaining about you. Like when you look at someone and you don't think they're going to be funny, or they just look like like they have like the resting bitch face or something, and then you actually go and talk to them and you love them. They're like your favorite person in the room. That's like you. There's just something, there's this like very hidden, amazing quality in you, which means that you're unassuming. So let's just call you unassuming. And, but really you're a force. You're an actual force. I want to get another oracle card on you, and, bloop. And then we'll do a little bit more. Strengthen your gifts. I don't know what the hell that means. I mean, what does this mean for you? Strengthen your gifts. You know, maybe you need to be a little softer. Maybe this is like, you are obviously kind and good, but maybe you... but you do show that. People do see this in you. I don't know what strengthen your gifts is. We're going to have to get back to that. I'll be honest. Rarely do I just not know what to say about a card, but I genuinely don't. But it will probably come to me. They tend to do that. Okay, so we've got... so yeah, the Mother of Pentacles, this is a very actually sweet and nurturing and caring vibe to me. This is that earthly energy here. And I think that you do have this. And this is, again, people might not think this by looking at you or just like, sharing a quick word with you. But once they get to know you, once they have a laugh with you, they really are like pulled in by your actual warmth. That's why I can't think of what strengthen your gifts are. And maybe it's just to lean into this even more. Maybe it's to say that you really do have so much more to share or give. I'm really not sure, but I do see in the Mother of Pentacles that you are a very, I think people really, they feel a warmth when they're around you. And I think this almost surprises them for some reason. Like they didn't think they would, but they actually do. And this is kind of like that vibe where, like, let's say whatever position you're in, you have a boss or a manager, and maybe like right away your manager intimidated you or you didn't think they were approachable. And then they actually wound up being like a very close and real friend. That's kind of who I think you are. You're that person that looks somewhat unapproachable, but you wind up being like an integral part of that person's like growth or life or whatever, healing. So yeah, but you do have a power to you. And I do think you are no nonsense to the point where, people might not find you, they might be shocked to know that you're actually as kind and loving as you are, but it is a gift of yours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so 2 of Swords, pardon me, 2 of Wands here. This is choice, and I think this came up because you are intentional. I don't think you do very many things that you like have whoopsies on, like if you do something, it's because you've weighed the consequence, the decisions you're making. I don't think that you overindulge in things. I think that you are very, balanced. And if you do overindulge, you're overindulging, and you basically say like, well, I'm just, I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to, and I'll take corrective measures tomorrow. Like, I'm not saying you never do the wrong thing, but when you are doing the wrong thing, and how you will handle the situation either the next day or the next week or whatever. But you are also, you don't do bad things. I don't think you lie, cheat, and steal. I think you just, whatever. I don't think you really do. That example came up when I thought about you maybe overindulging, let's put it that way. But in general, you're very much in control, and you make other people feel like they're in control when they're with you. I think people feel, how do they feel when they're with you? Let's get a little bit about that, because I can see it, but So this is, I like this very much. The Father of Pentacles and the friendship. They're taken in by your warmth. You do have a nurturing quality to you. And I think you want it it's almost like maybe you take on a mentor position. There's something where people really do want to go to you for advice. You are probably pretty accomplished in your career and you're actively working on this. This is something you strive for and something you work towards. And I get that if you are, also the Mother of Pentacles and then the Father of Pentacles, it's like such a buildup and such a confirmation that you're like home. When people are with you, they feel like they're either talking to their sister or their mother or, like someone they've always known and someone they can genuinely turn to for advice, confide in, and really weigh what you've said, really take in the weight of whatever advice you gave them, they will absolutely consider it. And I think people come to you with some pretty big things. I definitely think that once people get to know you and realize that they can trust you and that you're actually incredibly kind, that they form a pretty strong friendship with you. I think you have a lot of friends, a lot actually, and probably more than you know what to do with. But and I think you have a very decent sized circle of close, almost best friends, and then you have outer tiers of still many friends. And as far as your special gift, I'm trying to think, if I had to say it in a word, you're such a breath of fresh air. I think people it coming in, if they see you or they want to talk to you, they might not think that you have the time for them or that you can be bothered or whatever, when really you're very open to helping and hearing and listening. And there is something just very kind and beautiful about that. I get this very simple beauty off of you. I think you're internally just a good solid person. And externally as well. I think there's this, with the Mother of Pentacles, I get such this earth beauty, this sense of just this Mother Nature kind of little earthling, a little bit hippie, a little bit, I don't know, just earthy is the vibe. But at the same time, you're a professional. Maybe you're working from home now, but you've definitely have a past where it's not working from home. You've had to go into the office and really, work your ass off, prove yourself, climb the ladder, whatever it is. But you've worked very hard, and I think you're at a good place in your life. And you've like everyone, you have a story. But again, you are not the victim. You have a very pure energy to you. There's something very clean and pure about your energy. And people, when they see you, that what they see is what they get. I don't think you have this, you're very cut and dry. And I don't really know what else to say except that I see, let me see. Let me get another Oracle cards. Let me get some Oracle cards here because I don't want to end the reading right now. 2 more Oracle cards just about what is your gift, your special gift, and what do people see? This card has come up, I think, on every reading, and I shuffle these cards so thoroughly, which is really funny. Reassess and make necessary sacrifices. The make necessary sacrifices it goes back to me, it makes me think, you are very intentional. You do weigh your situations. You are contemplating. You apply foresight. You aren't just, there's not a willy-nilly aspect to you. And I like that you make the necessary sacrifices because you know exactly what serves you and what doesn't. And that is very much how someone at a higher level of, work performance or whatever would have to function. They would have to always take an inventory and take a stock and know what to keep and what to get rid of. And so with that, you are always reassessing, and you're probably reassessing your friends and your relationships. And again, to the point of what serves you and what doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. But because I do feel that you are a very good friend, a very loyal friend. Another word I didn't give to this is there's a loyalty to you. There's this if someone's in with you, they're in with you. You're not a bullshitter. You're not, you're very real. You're very genuine. And I think you're very sincere, but there's a genuine aspect to you, that is refreshing, and people really, really appreciate it. And not just friends, but like relationships and partners, they appreciate it as well. And they find it very appealing. It's an appealing quality of you. It makes you sexy. It makes you, there's just something very like sexy about that. And with the earth energy, that also tracks for that feeling. There's like a little bit of like that sensual aspect where you just have that pull, that kind of like gravitational pull. You really do pull people in. And again, you might not be the person in the room that like attracts everyone like a moth to a flame. Like, I don't know that you're that person, but once people like talk to you, interact with you, get a chance to actually know you, they're like sucked in, they're captivated. So that is a gift. I want that gift. I mean, because the moth to the flame person, things might not stick. It's not, but you have a real sticking power. So I'm going to take this card here, and we're just going to know a little. I'm just going to ask 2 more cards about how great you are. And I like that. So we've got the 9 of Cups and then the 4 of Pentacles. So I think good things happen to you. I really do think that, and it's because you work hard, because you are a good person, because you intentionally try to make, whoever is in your life happy in any way that you can. Doesn't mean you have to like bend over backwards for them, but you are, and it comes back to you. Things work out for you because you work at them. I think you have a pretty good life. And with that, I think you're happy. Emotionally, I think you're quite happy. I think you get the things you want. Let's just put it that way. You are someone who gets what they want. And people love being around the person who gets what they want. That is also, I'm going to say, like a very a very sexy quality, to be with someone who knows what they want and they get it. It's like there's that power there. It's powerful. It's very powerful. And the 4 of Pentacles here is, this can be a card of like holding on, budgeting. But I'm just going to see this as like, you're not careless. You're not silly. You're not out of control. You're not, people don't need to worry about you. And they don't really worry about you. Maybe you want someone to worry about you. Maybe that's, when you're in a relationship, that person can take on the role of like, kind of like caring for you and, coddling you or whatever. And I mean that in a good way, like really smothering you almost. But yeah, you definitely, you're very strong. I think you're quite independent. And, I think you take the lead. You're like I don't know, like CEO, which is kind of a generic way of just saying you're like, you're a boss. You're like a top bitch, very alpha. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave a comment. Most of my readings are about love and relationships, so sometimes when they're off topic like this, they take a minute for me, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm always getting better, so please come back and visit. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Hello, this is Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. You are letting me read for you, and we are doing a reading for your special gift. And this is, what do your friends love about you? What do people notice about you? This reading, I mean, it might be all over the place, but it will be interesting, and it will talk about you and what's, who you are a little bit and what at least one of your special gifts is. So great. Amethyst. Amethyst is always so beautiful. Like I mean, all these stones, all these crystals, they're so lovely. Okay, let's get a little bit about your special gift. And let me just ask, what's your special gift? And 2 oracle cards. What can we get? Be of service and think things through. So I don't think you're careless or reckless. I actually think you're probably very reliable. I think you're someone who, if you say you're going to do things, you absolutely do it. I think you're very loyal and Yeah, and these are just, I mean, I'm getting feelings. It's just what I feel when I turned over these cards. But let's get more about you. Yeah, who are you? What's amazing about you? Okay, so Son of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and the Empress. Okay. Yeah, so the Empress is a very, I mean, I always think of this like sensual energy coming off the Empress. She's like all that is feminine, fertile. She's just this very like luscious, beautiful, earthly creature. Everyone wants the Empress. So I will say you do probably have a very like alluring quality to you. And something that, which is interesting because you came off to me on this, you know, when these first cards got turned over, like there's, you know, more practical, but there is something mysterious and lovely about you. So I like that a lot, actually. This is probably one of my favorite readings that we've done so far. The Son of Pentacles. Yeah, again, I'm going to go with this kindness, this very deliberate, intentional kindness. I don't think you rush into things. I think you weigh your options. I think you think things through. Again, here we are, think things through. I really, I like you for so many reasons. Like, you know, I don't know if you're necessarily like, you know, maternal, but you seem like you'd be a great mom, right? Like there's something very like well-rounded about you, like lots of facets, multifaceted, just a well-roundedness but with all the good things. And I think they come to you with a lot of problems. I see you being someone like that people always want to talk to, always want to be around. I think like you remind me of the person that is always getting invited to things, always, always, always. Like, and friends might even be like, you haven't talked to that person in 4 years and they just invited you to their baby shower. Like people don't forget about you. You're not easy to forget. You stay on their minds, and you, quite frankly, I don't know what you do to make them like you so much, but they do. You're just very well liked. And because there's this dynamic too, like I wouldn't say these cards are opposites by any means, but they're they're both earth cards, so they actually have more in common than I realized. But there's just, there's that earth energy, that sense of just being home, coming home, feeling grounded. You make people feel grounded. But then there's a little bit of like, there's this ever so slightly alluring aspect of it too, like where there's this intrigue. Okay. Let's get a little bit more about how intriguing and wonderful you are. So Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, and Five of Cups. Two heavy cards. Ace of Pentacles is, to me, this is like the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a positive here. There's an excitement. There's always seeing the good in things and just wanting to start things, wanting to make things happen. Both in actions of actually doing it and like contemplating it, feeling it, working towards it, kind of this strive. And I guess, and these are two, like, they're sad. They're quite melancholy cards actually, but that's not the question I asked. So I'm trying to think how I can like translate these in a good way. And I think you're resilient. I do think like so many people, you've been through things, right? You have a history, you have a past, but you have a resilience. You're strong. There's kind of like this, I wouldn't say you're totally independent. Like, I don't think you're this like lone wolf character. I actually think you like having people around you. I think you really enjoy surrounding yourself with people and friends. And you enjoy like that kind of camaraderie. Maybe you came from a big family, maybe you have siblings, but there's a part of you that really does like, you love that you are always included in things. It's important to you. And maybe you do actually get sensitive or hurt if you don't get invited to things, or if you think that people maybe don't, if you think you've offended someone or hurt someone or turned someone off in some way, it probably really does get to you. I do actually think you care more about what other people think than I might have thought initially. So yes, there is that awareness that you want to be liked, but but you are really liked. And you do have this, I'm trying to think of how I can describe it, but this like sweet, like supple kind of goodness to you. There's something very wholesome in you, but wholesome in like a very appealing kind of girl next door cuteness kind of way. Yeah. And I can picture you like I can picture a friend that I have that makes me think of you, because I get these cards and I see how you, I don't know, I kind of see how you work. Yeah, let's get a little bit more because I'm now just talking about absolutely nothing. Let's get 2 more oracle cards about you, so I can even like better highlight your special gift. So I'm going to pull 2 more oracle cards and let's see a little bit more about you. So strengthen your gifts and face your adversities. I mean, I don't love those because they don't tell a overwhelmingly exciting story about who you are, but I think if anything, I would say this: there might be a part of you that lacks confidence, even though you are confident in some ways. I think you'll go after what you want. I think you have a confidence in that way, but I just think you second guess yourself. Maybe you don't see how sweet and charming you are. Maybe you don't quite understand why people always want to have you around. There's something that you lack, or I feel like you lack a certain element of confidence, but not in every single aspect of your life. And you definitely, I don't think you suffer from, like feeling, I don't want you to, if you don't think you lack confidence, and I don't want you to hear that and question if you do or not, then you don't. But when I see strength in your gifts, it just makes me think like you really need to see how incredible you are, and how lovely you are. And part of the things that people love about you is it might be this fact that you do have so much to offer and there's so much goodness and greatness to you, but you're so humble. I actually get a very humble vibe off you, like almost in a very simplistic way, but you aren't simple. You're simple in the sense that like, I think very simple things can make you happy. Like you could absolutely be happy with just like a glass of wine and one friend, or you could be happy just going for a hike. Like there's something calm and quiet about you, but as far as like being simple-minded, you absolutely aren't. I think you are a thinker. I think you do contemplate. I think you're always weighing your options. And I think you're probably a lot more analytical than other people realize. The people who know you well probably know that, but you do have a strength in truly like sizing up situations. And people might enjoy your company and love your company so much. I don't know if they ask you for advice as much as they should, but when they do, you absolutely, I think you give them like the best advice ever, because it's like almost unexpected. Because I actually do think there's a part of you that's very, very, very sharp, very astute. But it's not the part of you that you show to the world. Like, I don't think it's wrapped up in the work you do. I don't think it's necessarily, you might have a hobby or a talent that kind of breaches on this actual like skill or like brilliance that you have. But it's not something like the world sees all the time from you. So when someone does get to either talk to you about this part of your life that you know so much of, or this experience you've had where you really are like skilled, then yeah, I think it's you have a lot to offer. But in general, you have a lot to offer. And I love the Empress card, and I love the other cards that have come up in conjunction with this. And I really love the Earth energy, because this is like, not only do people always want you where they are, I also think you're one of those people where people love going to your home. They love just sitting at your home and hanging out. They love whether you have like, I don't know, you could have this great house, you could have this pool that people love hanging out in, or you could just have the kitchen that people love sitting in and talking to you. Like, I feel like you're probably a very good cook. I feel like you make your own kombucha or something, or like your own beer. Just, there's something, you probably have an artsy flair that the more people get to know you, they see like, oh my gosh, you're doing this. You're you're sprouting, you're growing all your own vegetables, you're composting, you're doing all these like interesting things. You make pasta from scratch that you never talk about. Yeah, so just there's a lot to you. And I think people find these, when they do realize these things about you, it probably inspires them to be like, oh, I should try that. I should do that. That kind of thing. And yeah, you're understated, but at the same time, there's something striking about you. Like I said, you're either very like cute, sweet girl next door, or you have like a very striking quality, like whether it's your eyes are very striking, there's something about you that's kind of like almost bewitching. Like, and I don't mean that in a like your eyes bewitch people. I mean, like there's a feature you have that people are really drawn to. They find it very actually pleasing to look at. And then that leads to them just wanting to hang around and get to know you better. So yeah, and I don't know, 13, I might stop the reading here because let me get a little bit more about your special gift. I'm going to do one more of these, or two more of these actually, because I'm into these. Okay, face your shadow and refine your attention. These cards like to show up. You probably take criticism pretty well. I don't think you love it, but I do think you take it well. I don't think you take things too personally. And this goes along with like, I'm trying to think, do you take things personally? You can handle criticism, let's put it that way. Whether or not you take it personally is a different thing, but you are very good. You want to be a better person. You're aware that, you're not perfect and no one is, and you are always wanting to better yourself. You probably have a stack of, self-help books that you've read or whatever, like audiobooks or something. I feel like, again, like if someone said, oh yeah, I read this book, you'd be like, oh yeah, I read that. And then I read all his other books. Like there's so much more to you than meets the eye. And I love that earth energy. And as far as refine your attention, I do think you are doing a lot of things, a lot of little projects that you dabble in to kind of keep your own self interested, to learn as much as you can, to do as much as you can. And you might find that you get overwhelmed or you get burnt out or you feel like you've got so much going on that you can't actually focus on any one thing. I can see that. But, so work on that if that feels like a thing you do. But in general, there's a very alluring dynamicism to you that I feel like you have. And you probably feel this in relationships too, that you can kind of like win anyone over. That if you just, if you can get anyone to have a conversation with you or a meal with you or whatever, like that you're probably going to they're going to be eating out of your hand. I got that vibe from you. Not that you flaunt that or that there's no part of you that I think exploits that necessarily, or it's not something you would lead with. You have, what am I trying to say? I have been having the hardest time trying to say what's on my mind for these readings. But yeah. Okay, anyway, I hope you like this reading. I am going to stop it here because I feel myself rambling. But yes, I hope this reading got through to you and that you liked it. And if you did, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And we're just going to get one more card about your special gift. And this is the Four of Wands. And this is like a kind of ceremony, community, celebration, bringing people together. There's just this sense of, again, that people want to be around you. They want you to be a part of what's going on in their life. They want you to celebrate with them. You just bring something to the table. You bring something to the room, to the atmosphere, to whatever it is. There's a part of you, there's like this little light that people just really, they really want you around. And when you are around, I think people are a lot happier for it. And that is a really lovely, lovely gift. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please let me know your comments, anything. Thank you so much. And I'm always doing readings, so I hope to see you back. Thank you. Goodbye.